UFC Fight Night. Morales versus Burns. Let's pick up some dimes. Kicking off the night, we got Tisha, Tiny Tornado Pennington, fighting Luana Pinheiro. Tisha Pennington, formerly known as Tisha Torres. She is a point fighter. She is very good footwork, nice jabs. Her fights usually go to decisions.
No, don't like that.
And for Luana Pinheiro, I don't know. I don't think she should be that big of an underdog against Tisha Torres. You know, there's always a split decision win possibility. Not that I'm going to bet on it. But I wouldn't recommend putting too much or putting anything on Tisha, right? Not at minus 400. I think the line's a bit closer now. I think it's at minus 350 or 330. But even then, you're entrusting a lot to the judges' scorecards. And we just saw what happened with Aldo and Zahabi. And even that Ion Kutalaba fight. You can't trust the judges.
No.
So for this fight, looking at their fight histories, no surprise there. Tisha. So many decisions. All decisions. For Luana, she's more evenly spread out. It doesn't matter though. She's fighting Tisha. She is fighting Tisha. Looking at topology and D ratings, yeah, I think most people think Tisha's going to win. I don't know. I feel like it's a hefty price to pay to bet on someone who's going to most likely win a unanimous, but probably a split decision. I don't want to sweat that. What am I going to pick? For the sake of picking, I'm going to pick Tisha to win a decision. But for the sake of betting, I am going to feel much more confident not having any money on Tisha per se, but rather on the rounds. Over 1.5. It's minus 700, but it's not bad. It's probably the best minus 700 you will ever find in any pro sports for Tisha fights to go over 1.5. And over 2.5 obviously comes at a better price. Not much more risk. So both of those are going to be our dimes. We are picking those up. I don't care about value. There might not be much value, but I like the certainty. Both of those are perfect pieces to add to your parlays. And with a few more of those, you're going to get double money. Next, we got Hyun-Sun Park fighting Carlos Hernandez. Hyun-Sun Park is an undefeated prospect, 9-0, on fire, finishing dudes in the first round, second round, on a complete domination streak. Although his opponents aren't that good, man. His opponents aren't the best. Carlos Hernandez is much more battle tested. He just won in the UFC in his fight against another undefeated Asian fighter, I think from Mongolia, right? Tumblero or something. I can't say his name. But yeah, Carlos Hernandez has been fighting a lot of undefeated prospects from Asia. I don't know, is that a coincidence or is this just what UFC wants him to do? He's lost a few to Tatsuro Taira, but he's also won. Hyun-Sun Park is minus 190. Let's take a look at their fight histories. Yeah, Hyun-Sun Park is a finisher, at least against the lower level guys. Against Carlos Hernandez, I'm not so sure. I'm not sure that Park can finish, let alone beat Carlos Hernandez. Topology thinks so. D ratings think so. What do I think? I'm not sure. If I had a pick, I'll pick Park. I think he'll dominate early. The first round and second round for sure. I don't know if he can finish Carlos. Even if he does, it'll be a late finish. And I wouldn't be surprised if Carlos wins. And, undefeated fighters aren't doing so good this year. They're not. So yeah, that's my pick. For the bets, I'm not confident in anything. I would not put any money on Park, even at minus 170. I know it's not bad. I can understand if you want to, but I wouldn't. For round betting, not that confident, and it's a minus 425. I'd rather do that. I would much rather do Tisha 2.5 at minus 450. Much better. So completely passing this fight. Moving on. Next, we got Elise Reed fighting Denise Gomes. When I first saw this, I'm not gonna lie, I thought Denise is gonna win for sure, and I still do. But I watched Elise fight. She won her last fight. She's probably not as bad as I think. I don't see her beating Denise Gomes. Just look at the pictures. Look at them. If you didn't know anything about those two fighters and you had to pick based on pictures, who would you pick? I'm just saying. Yeah, I got Denise Gomes. Pretty confident with her. She is a monster. She fights just like the way she looks. She's tough. She's a finisher too. She's a finisher too. And, Elise Reed, the only time she's lost, she's been finished. 2 knockouts and 2 submissions each. Pretty lopsided here for Denise Gomes. And I see Elise Reed could potentially win if Denise just brain farts and just gets outranged. She won't. Denise Gomes won't. And at this point in their careers, I don't see Denise Gomes getting, held back by Elise Reed. It doesn't make any sense. So my pick, Denise Gomes. I'm not sure how the end. I think she will knock out Elise Reed. Okay, maybe not in the first, probably the second, maybe the third. So for betting wise, I'm not touching the rounds. I feel like this is a trap. I know women's fights over 1.5. Not this one, man. I feel like Denise Gomes could finish Elise Reed. Moneyline Denise Gomes minus 550. Not ideal, but I like it. I'm very confident in it. Not a dime, but pretty close. Next fight. Luana Santos versus Tainara Lisboa. I'm gonna be honest, man. I don't know what to do for this one. I don't want to touch it. The odds are so close and they flip back and forth. Luana was, I think she was the underdog in the beginning. Now she's a favorite. Now I think the line's spreading wider. I don't know why. I feel like Tainara Lisboa, right, it can hold her own. She's much bigger. She's got better striking. And I get, Luana's a better grappler, but like Bilal versus Jack, you got to get there. You got to get close. So I don't know. I feel like this is a tough fight to bet on, round-wise and money-line-wise. I don't know. I don't feel confident with anything. Looking at, everybody feels pretty confident in Santos. I don't feel very confident in Santos at all. She might win. If I had a pick, I just really don't like Santos. I feel like Lisboa can do it. I feel like she can not just beat Santos, but maybe finish her. Round 3 KO. Let's do this. Round 3 KO. But, for real, we're not gonna touch this one. You might want to do a bit, you could do a low underdog bet. Plus 150 is not even that great, honestly. Right? But no, I'm passing. Pass. Moving on. Next fight. Yadier DelValle versus Connor Matthews. DelValle? Another prospect. Another up-and-coming prospect fought in the Contender Series recently. Won by decision, I think. So nothing crazy. Fighting Connor Matthews. More experienced Connor. Weak chin, though. Very chinny. But DelValle's got no power. DelValle, I keep saying his name wrong. Is it DelValle? DelValle doesn't really knock people out. So I don't think Connor Matthews is really in trouble here. And if he's not in trouble, then I feel like DelValle might be in trouble. I feel like Connor Matthews' grappling could help him win the fight. I do. But he is a huge underdog. Right? He is a huge underdog. Who am I gonna pick? I don't know this one. I don't feel confident in this one at all. I know the odds are heavily in DelValle's favor. He's like minus 400, 450. I don't know. If I had a pick, I'm probably gonna pick Connor Matthews. I don't know this young guy. He's undefeated, but he doesn't look that impressive to me. So I'm gonna go Connor Matthews by decision. I don't think he gets knocked out. I got nothing, man. I got nothing for this one. I'm passing. Pass. Next fight. Jared Gordon versus Thiago Moises. Oh, Jared Gordon. What do we do with Jared Gordon? This guy is good. Jared Gordon is good, man. He's good, but he's getting old. He's 38 years old, and he loses fights where he should have won, I think. I feel like one of his fights where he lost, I felt like he won. I don't know. I feel like he's not the luckiest fighter out there. Thiago Moises. Younger, 6 years younger. That's huge. That's huge. And I feel like he's just a better fighter. He's got to be. Didn't he take Islam down? Right. That's amazing. He took Islam down like twice. He's fought some good dudes and he's lost some good dudes. So yeah, I don't know. This one is another tough one to call. Round betting might be pretty safe. I don't see this fight finishing in the first 1.5 rounds. So I'm probably going to go with that. Just looking at both of their fight histories and their tendencies, I don't think this is going to be like a blitz off the get-go. Who wins? Probably Moises. I think Moises is the better fighter. Right? Can't really trust Jared Gordon, man. I'm going Moises. Probably a decision though. And for betting, not touching the money line, over 1.5, I feel pretty good with. That I do feel pretty good with. I'll probably put that into a parlay. Next, final fight in the prelims. Gabe Green fighting Matheus Camilo. No picture for Matheus Camilo on UFC. That's weird. Gabe Green. Note that this fight is happening at 155, I believe. This is happening at lightweight. Gabe Green is listed as a welterweight. And he's not a small welterweight. He is a big, bulky welterweight. And he hasn't fought. He hasn't fought since 2023. 2 years. Maybe he's coming back stronger than ever. Or maybe he's just done. He's just done. He's 32. He's not super young. Camilo's young. He's only 24. He's young. He's hungry. How do we bet against him? Finisher too. Camilo's a finisher. Lots of knockouts. Lots of submissions. I'm feeling Camilo here. I just don't know what Gabe Green has to offer after a 2-year layoff at 155 pounds. Smart money will go to Camilo. It's not a lock by any means, but I do think Camilo will win a decision here. I don't think he finishes Gabe Green. I could be wrong, but I'm not gonna put money on whether it's a decision or a finish. I don't know. Money line is the only thing I'm doing. I'm pretty confident, not super confident, but I feel like the script, the script. I feel like Camilo should win this fight. It doesn't make much sense for Gabe Green to win this. Camilo's younger. He's hungrier. It's just better. Camilo's the pick. Camilo's the bet. On to the main event. Main card. Julian Erosa fighting Melquizo Costa. Melquizo Costa? Yeah. Both of these guys are coming off wins. 3-win. Both of these are coming off a 3-win win streak. One of them is going to end. And I feel like Julian Erosa, Juicy J, I feel like Julian's win streak is going to come to an end. He beat Darren Elkins in the last fight. But it's Darren Elkins, man. It's like a 40-year-old Darren Elkins. How much do we put into that? Costa beat C-Rod, Christian Rodriguez. And I just feel like Costa's probably the better fighter. He's younger, right? He's more skilled. He hits harder, right? They both have good grappling, I think. But I feel like Costa has better stand-up. Better kicks. Like his kicks are nasty. Costa's kicks. Whew. Whew. Yeah. Do I know anything about the rounds here? I don't feel confident with round betting here. What does everybody else think? Yeah, Costa seems like a big favorite to win. My pick is going to be Costa. I think it'll be a decision. I don't think he finishes Erosa. He might. I don't know. But smart money would be on Costa, and I do feel pretty confident in Costa here. I do. Next, we got Dustin Stoltzfus fighting Nursultan Ruziboev. This fight is nuts. Both of these guys are either gonna finish or get finished in their fights. That's all they do. Stoltzfus he's been knocked out in the first. He's knocked the other guy out in the first. Nursultan Ruziboev is the same. Lots of submissions though. That's a sneaky one. So I don't feel so good putting, just straight up Ruziboev by KO. I feel like that might be a trap. I feel like he might want to, do a KO or submission combo for the bet. Because he does have a lot of sneaky, lots of submissions. I think he's going to win here. I think Ruziboev is going to finish Stoltzfus, most likely in the first or second. But I think under 2.5 or even under 1.5. Pretty good. Yeah, everyone else thinks so too. This fight is not going to see the judges' scorecard. Very unlikely to see the judges' scorecard here. What do I pick? This one's pretty easy, I think. We're going to do Ruziboev by KO in round 1. If he doesn't, though, if he doesn't finish Stoltzfus in the first or second, there's a very big chance Stoltzfus will finish him in the third. So that's probably a good hedge to put Stoltzfus with a finish by either KO or submission and pair that with over 1.5. Because Stoltzfus, I don't think is going to finish Ruziboev in the first 1.5 rounds. Yeah, so that's I'd say low confidence there, but it's probably a hedge to Stoltzfus. I am very, very confident that this fight will not see the judges' scorecard. So confident, rather, that I'm going to get a dime. That's a dime right there. It's free. Under 2.5. Ruziboev by KO or submission. I'm also pretty confident because I just think he's going to finish Stoltzfus, man. I don't think Stoltzfus can survive the power and the submission, the grappling, right? I feel like Ruziboev might knock him down, hurt him. Stoltzfus is a tough dude, though. So, he gets knocked down. He might get knocked out. But that's okay. Ruziboev is going to just jump on him, sink in a rear naked, an arm triangle. I don't know. But I think that's what's going to happen. And to shed some insight on this fight from a different perspective, here is my friend Preston, also known as the Psychic Gambler.
We got Nursultan Ruziboev and we got Dustin Stoltzfus. All right. What do we got here? We got two middleweights, heavyweights, welterweights, all fast finishes. All right. Statistically, it's there. It's in the data. It's good for unders. We got water versus metal. Also very good for unders. Why? Because water flows and metal is solid. And when you put them together, one's gonna break or one's gonna drown. All right. We got waning moons this week. That means that things are going down. That means emotional compression. That means exit stage left because somebody's going to come out a winner and somebody's going to come out dead. Speak about dead, both of these archetypes are death types. Yes, that means they're going to die in the octagon. No, not really. That means that they're going to go through transformation via destruction, spiritual transformation. It still, really hurts the ego though. So expect one person to win gloriously and the other one to not win so gloriously. They both have the Seven of Cups Destiny card. What does that mean? Emotional fog, bad reads, chaos decisions. That tied in with the waning moon, that's a perfect recipe for disaster or success if you're betting the under. Um, and so what does the field say? What does the spiritual data say? It says that under 1.5 is your best bet. Anywhere I would say at negative 200 or better is probably a great bet at negative 1.5. I mean at under 1.5. We also have under 2.5. I think that's parlay gold right there. If you want to pair that with anything you got under 2.5 for this car, it's just basically free money. We also, if you really feel a little bit spicy, you can bet Ruzi round 1, round 2 KO sub. You know, I think that's going to be pretty clear. That he's a favorite and he's water and he's just gonna basically drown Dustin. So that's my favorite pick. Um, and if you really were just kind of know something I don't about Dustin, you can bet him for KO. Wouldn't really recommend it, but you could also use him as a hedge if you felt like that was something you'd like to do. Anyway, this is not a pick. It's just a field back prophecy.
So yeah, looks like our opinions are aligned, and definitely feel pretty comfortable under 2.5 rounds. You can also pair that with Ruziboev on money line, right? If Ruziboev is gonna win, I don't think it's going to be a decision, man. Either under 2.5 or 1.5 if you're feeling frisky. Next fight, we got Sodiq Yusuff fighting Myron Santos. Ooh, both of these guys are good. I mean, Myron Santos is probably the most underwhelming top prospect there is. He looks so good, and he is good, but his last fight wasn't that great. I feel like he lost that fight. He could have lost that fight. I'm not sure. And it wasn't against a top opponent either. Sodiq Yusuff, he is good, but I just feel like how much does he have left? We know he has power. He's got power. That's undeniable. He's fought better competition. He's fought Diego Lopez, and he lost. Right now, Yusuff is the underdog. Does he deserve to be the underdog? Should he be the underdog against Myron Santos? I think yes. I think it's Myron's time, man. I think whatever it takes, however it's going to take, I think Myron Santos is going to get this done. I think Santos beats Yusuff. Yusuff has, just a lucky punch. That's it. He's got to get Santos. He's got to hit Santos. As long as Santos can avoid that big shot by Yusuff, even if he takes that big shot, as long as he can recover, I think he will outwork Yusuff and win either by a late stoppage or a decision win. Looking at their fight histories, submissions you don't have to worry about submissions here. So instead of money line, right? That's telling me that we can do knockout or decision. That takes away the submission risk, the submission threat, and we make a little bit more money that way if you want to bet that way. It's split. It's split. People in topology think that Yusuff is going to win. A lot of people, 70%, more than 70%. But D ratings has Myron. Right now, Myron's the underdog. Sorry, right now Yusuff is the underdog. Right now, Yusuff is the underdog. I'm going to go with the favorite, Myron Santos. I think he will finish Yusuff here in the second round, most likely, or third, which makes round betting a bit tough here. So yeah, like I said, I don't think we have to do money line here. So whether you feel like it's Yusuff or Santos, I honestly am not sure. I don't think I'm going to really put anything on here. I don't really know. I'm not even confident with the rounds here. Yeah, I do feel like Santos is going to win though, but not enough for me to put anything on there. Yeah, that's going to be a pass. That's going to be a pass. But I do think Santos will win. Next, we have Rodolfo Bellato fighting Paul Bearju Craig. Paul Craig and Mearshart, those two guys, I hate betting against. I hate betting against them. You never know. Third round triangle. You never know. I don't think he has it up his sleeves anymore. I think Paul Craig has had a very colorful career in the UFC. I think his time is close to being up. And I think Rodolfo Bellato is good enough to beat Craig and beat him dominantly. You can't just barely beat Craig, right? Unless you're Bo Nickel, I guess. But you can't just barely beat Craig. You're either going to destroy him, either finish him, or just, completely dominate him to a finish. Paul Craig usually gets finished. Or he's going to finish you, right? He's going to beat you with a last-minute submission, like a triangle or something. I just don't see that happening. And the worst part for Craig here is Rodolfo Bellato gets better with time. He usually starts slow, right? He doesn't come up blitzing. He starts slow. Usually he lost like the first round to Jimmy Crute, like 10-8. But he comes back stronger in the second and third. And that's a problem for Paul Craig, because Paul Craig needs the other guy to gas in the second and third. And that's when Paul Craig comes in. So that's not very good for Paul Craig, this matchup. I'm feeling pretty confident. I mean, to be fair, Bellato is minus 550 right now. I don't think this fight is going to go to the decisions either. I don't see the judges scoring this fight. I think it's going to be a finish, most likely for Bellato. And I think everyone else thinks that as well. Not really picking anything here. My pick is going to be Bellato. I think he will knock out Paul Craig either in the first or second. In the second. Round betting is a bit tough. I think under is pretty safe play here. Under 2.5 is a minus 360. There's a big jump though, right? Fight to not go to the distance, which is just 2.5 more minutes. That's minus 600. So I guess you're kind of, preventing that last 2.5 minute triangle from Paul Craig, honestly, right? That's why the odds are so different. So yeah, pick what you choose. I do feel pretty confident in going Bellato, KO, or sub, minus 280. You can also pair that with under 2.5 for minus 225 for some better lines. Not enough for a dime. This is not like the Ruziboev fight where I really don't think it's going to finish. There's a chance, man. Paul Craig might just make this a boring Bo Nickel fight again. I don't know. I don't see it happening, though. Very unlikely. I think this fight will finish before 2.5 rounds. That is my opinion. Main event, Gilbert Durinho Burns fighting Michael Morales. Michael Morales is good. This guy might be champion. He might be the division champion in the next 2 to 3 years. This kid is really good. He passed the Neo Magni test. Passed it with flying colors. Knocked him out. He is good, and I don't think Gilbert Burns is that good anymore. I think most people online who are still, on the Gilbert Burns side with his wrestling and his pressure, I think they're kind of stuck in the past, and it's understandable, right? If you watch UFC for a long time, you tend to start, having a lot of fighters that you like, your favorites. But I don't think Gilbert Burns is still the same guy. He's 38. He's almost 39, and he looked good against JDM last time they fought, but right? He got knocked out by JDM. He couldn't keep up. This is a 5-round fight. I don't see Burns surviving 5 rounds against Michael Morales, nor do I see Burns threatening Michael Morales. Michael Morales has good takedown defense, albeit he hasn't really fought anybody with crazy takedowns. I don't see a 38-year-old Burns troubling Michael Morales. I don't see him surviving Michael Morales for 5 rounds. Yeah, Michael Morales is a scary dude, man. 71% of his wins come by knockout. Scary guy. He's got power. Yeah, look. Topology and D ratings are heavily favored for Michael Morales. I'm going to pick Michael Morales. I think he'll finish Burns in the 3rd, just like JDM. I think Burns will either, keep it close or survive the first 2. Typical Burns. But starting 3rd or 4th or even 5th round, I don't think he sees 5th round. Maybe 3rd or 4th round, he gets knocked out by Morales. The odds aren't that great. The odds are not that great. Minus 800. But I do think it's pretty safe. Right? You can also pair it with an under 4.5 to make it all of a sudden minus 150. Right? If you think Morales is gonna finish. Or you can do just a finish. KO and KO. Or you can do a KO and decision for Morales. That's safe. Is it worth it though? Do we think Morales is really gonna go all 5 rounds with Burns? Can Burns survive 5 rounds with Morales? I don't know. I don't think so. But Morales wins this. Morales definitely wins this. And that is the entire card. Now let's take a look at the bets. There's not many single bets here, right? The wins, the bets that we like, the odds aren't that great. So parlay is the way to go here. And I got 4 parlays. The last one, the orange one, is more of a lottery parlay. It's not bad though. If you just look over, right? Look at those seven legs that parlay. They're very, very hittable. Very hittable. But our main parlay, the 5-minute parlay, the one that's going to cover all the other parlays, right? So the worst case scenario here is that we come out winning a little bit. That's the worst case scenario for this card. The main parlay of Pennington Pinheiro over 2.5 rounds and Ruziboev and Stoltzfus under 2.5. That parlay gets you minus 150. That's not bad. That's pretty damn good for a near certainty. So yeah, that's this card. Good luck, and I'll see you in the next one.